भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. So we had reached the part where we were going to try and locate happiness. We were going to hunt down this mysterious happiness, that which everybody at all times is seeking. Somehow, we don't seem to have it. Or we have it as a flickering flame. It comes and it goes. We're going to hunt it down. Now, what are we going to do for that? We are going to approach Vedanta. Right? So let's start. Why are we approaching Vedanta? Because it's going to give us laws, things that don't change. Understanding these, I'm in the second paragraph of this page, understanding these eternal principles, these laws of cause and effect, helps us separate reality from fiction. Once you know the law, you cannot even imagine what worth and value it has in your life. The whole problem of life is that we tend to consume fiction as if it is fact. But when you know the laws, you don't fall for this. Understanding these eternal principles, these laws of cause and effect, helps separate reality from fiction. It's as simple as knowing that the desert doesn't have water. Even if you see water there, it is dry sand. It is as simple as knowing that the sun is stationary and the earth goes around it. So though you're seeing the sun rise, you know it's not rising. So when you understand the laws, you can separate reality from fiction. But what hope for us if we consume fiction as fact? If we are willing to accept every bit of fiction as if it is a fact, now what hope is there? The best-selling fiction. So what is this fiction we are consuming? The best-selling fiction. The best-selling fiction of all time is, when X happens, I will be happy. When I get something, I will be happy. All humans have bought into this theory. This wrong notion is at the root of all unhappiness. Relying on an external situation to make us happy surely predicts fickle happiness. It comes and goes. You remember one of the first facts we studied in the book Vedanta Treaty? What is the nature of the world?
Change.
Change. Since change is the nature of the world, once you understand, you grapple that thought to your heart with hoops of steel, and you understand that everything here is changing, then will you expect any kind of stable happiness from it? It is changing, get it? So if you depend on the world for happiness, it surely predicts fickle happiness. It comes and it goes. because the world is changing, when it's the way you like it, okay, maybe you're happy. And then it changes, and then it's not the way you like it. And then you've lost your happiness again. The American dream we chase is just that, a dream. Even if it is realized, happiness is not assured. No, I know people who've done amazing things for this American dream. There is a man I know. I'm telling you a true story. You may think I'm making this up. He went into America as an illegal. He was just married. I mean, he went in legally, of course, but he overstayed the visa, so he became an illegal. And he just stayed there. He stayed there for like 15 years or 16 years, like that. In the meanwhile, his wife, who he had left behind, delivered twins, and she was a single mother to those two twins. He saw his children for the first time after 15 years, and they saw him for the first time. What all sacrifices, what, I mean, this is before the age of video, of the cell phones and all of this. Now the children are grown up and married also. But that time he took all this risk, all this trouble, all this everything for that American dream that we will have all these things. What amount of trouble the family has been through. What amount of trouble. Only so that eventually they can make it to the US. And having made it to the US now what? Do you think he's any happier than you and I? It's all debatable, right? Has he obtained some fabulous happiness that none of us have? Very debatable. I mean, not as far as I met him 10 years ago, so I do not know what happened subsequently. So I don't have some bad story ending over here. The story, as far as I know, is good. He's fine. His children have grown up. They've gotten married. They've all become legal. All this stuff has happened. But okay, even though it has happened, तो क्या तीर मारा? What has he now got that we do not have? And what amount of trouble? What amount? Can you imagine not seeing your children for 15 years? Can you imagine that lady bringing up twin sons by herself over here in India? But did all this in this hope that I will get something fantastic. And that's what we all do. Whether you get married, whether you buy a house in India, in Mumbai, buying a house, my God, what a big thing. I don't know, Marianne, if you know this. Mumbai has some of the most expensive real estate. So a regular person, how is he supposed to buy a house? How can he afford it? I mean, his whole lifetime earning will not buy him a house in Mumbai. So this buying a house in Mumbai is like full of dreams and hopes and aspirations. It's like your life depends on it. So this is the best-selling fiction of all times. That if I get this, I am going to be happy. If I had a Rolls Royce, if I had anything, something we have in our minds. If we wait for someday to be happy, that day is never going to be. It is now or never. We waited for the exam results to be happy. We waited for the admissions to be happy. We waited for the job, the marriage, the children, the better car, the better house, the better health, the better weight. Life became nothing but waiting for Godot. You know, Waiting for Godot is a very, very famous play. And so what is the story of it? Anyone knows the story of Waiting for Godot?
Yes, I do.
Yes, tell us.
It's about two characters in the play who are just waiting for Godot, who never comes. So, and there is no clear understanding of what or who Godot is, and many interpretations about who or what Godot is. But the point is, he never comes.
In one simple word, what happens in the play is one word, whole play, one word. What is that word?
Waiting.
The word is nothing. Nothing happens in that play. These two are standing there waiting for this chap to come. We don't know anything about these two people. We don't know anything about this silly guru who's supposed to come. We know nothing. So what happened? At least, okay, we found some love story that happened in the past with these two people. Nothing. Nothing happens. And that's really symbolic of our life. All this, they're talking and talking, and like it's a play with two acts. One critic said about it, it's a play where nothing happens twice because there are two acts. First act, nothing happens. So then you think, okay, maybe in the second act, something will happen. Again, nothing happens. Because all they do is they talk stupid stuff. Even what they're talking is not sensible. I mean, it makes no sense. There's no storyline in what they're talking. They are doing some random meandering. And then act one over. Then act two, again, they're doing some random meandering. And act two over. And it became a classic. I mean, because it represents the human condition. All unrelated things going on and on and on, and then the act is over. Then you start again. Again, all unrelated, meandering things. And then again, it's over. So life becomes nothing but waiting for Godot. Happiness is here and now. It is not about feigning a happiness we do not feel. Many people, they sort of feign the happiness. They pretend to be happy. They're determinedly happy. I don't know if you've noticed that. It's just almost as a determination that I'm going to be happy. It's a feigning of happiness. It's not that inner cheer that is simply effervescing out. Or they deny sorrow. That's the other very, very sad thing. Where we are unhappy and we deny ourselves the unhappiness. Deny ourselves the unhappiness means you're not willing to admit to yourself that you're unhappy. You are not willing to admit. Others are not willing to admit. Sometimes people feel bad and they tell somebody, I'm feeling so bad or something. And the other person says, oh, what's in that problem? There's nothing in that problem. You sort of deny other people their sorrow because you're denying yourself your sorrow. We have some kind of yardstick in our mind. Oh, that is a problem and this is not a problem. Well, I mean, if a person feels that it's a problem to that person. Who are we to say that it is a problem or not a problem? And if my mind is finding a problem, then why am I sitting in judgment and saying there's no problem? How can I say that? My mind is feeling the problem. So often we pretend to be happy, and sometimes we deny our sorrows, which is neither of which are healthy behaviors. You can't just say, okay, a human being is supposed to be happy, so I have to be happy. And behave like that. It is not about feigning a happiness we do not feel nor denying our sorrow, but being genuinely happy. Really and truly, you are happy. If it is not now, it is never going to. Meaning that all the time, if you're thinking that this should happen, that should happen, that should happen, that should happen, one day we may be dead and we're still waiting for something to happen. The twist, okay, so what were we were saying? The best-selling fiction. Best-selling fiction are usually some novel. So we have our novel in our head. What is our novel in our head? When X happens, I will be happy. That is our novel going on in our head. But every novel has a twist in the tail. Every story has a twist in the tail. So what is our twist in the tail? The twist in the tail, unfulfilled dreams. Yet we are constantly seeking happiness in the only way we know. We naively try to find fulfillments in objects, emotions, or thoughts. That's at the physical level, emotional level, or intellectual level. Objects, physical, emotions, mind, intellect, thoughts. So we all find it at these three levels. When we thus strive, one of two things can happen. So when we're trying to get it from this thing, one of two things can happen. What are they? Number one, failure. You don't get the object, emotion, or thought. We don't get the object, emotion, or thought we desire. We don't manage to obtain it. We don't obtain the money, relationship, degree, promotion, etc. we were looking for. To long for and to be denied is awful. You really, really want it, but you're just not getting it. It could be something tangible or intangible, a mansion or fame. Tangible means something you can touch, see, so a mansion, you want a big house, or it could be something intangible like fame. It could be as simple as missing the bus or being in the slower queue, or as complex as unrequited love. Yeah? Wide range, right? In all cases, failure causes distress and sorrow. Right? So when you want something, you have two options. Either you fail or you succeed. Only two options. So failure will give you distress and sorrow, easily understood. Two, success. That makes us happy, right? Yes. Or wait, is it so? One possibility. What are you saying, Reshma? Could you please elaborate finding fulfillment in thought? Just even if you study Vedanta out of curiosity, you're finding fulfillment in thought, right? You're very happy with the ideas of Vedanta. You're very happy to read about socialism and capitalism. You're just happy with that. Why is the internet such a sensation? Because anything you want to read about, anything you want to know about, you can find it out. And the more you know about these things, the more great you think yourself to be. So you can find fulfillment in thought. Thought means thoughts, ideas, notions, all of this, theories.
Like intellectual satisfaction.
Yes.
Okay.
Mathematics. So the second option is if you can fail or you can succeed. And success makes us happy. But is it so? I mean, obviously success makes us happy. Please don't skip that yes. Of course, success makes us happy. The moment you succeed at anything, even if it is as simple as solving a riddle, you feel happy, right? If you wanted to get a degree, you got the degree, you feel happy. So when you meet success, you're happy. But wait, is it so? One possibility is that we attain the object of our desire and live happily ever after, like in the fairy tale. Ever wondered what succeeds the and they live happily ever after? As I said, prince and princess got married and they lived happily ever after. And then what happened? After the prince and princess have walked hand in hand into the sunset, don't they ever get down to real life? Don't the bulbs fuse? Doesn't money run out for the latest tiara? Or don't other beautiful princesses come along to dance and laugh with the prince? Maybe they should ban fairy tales. Because in real life, there is no they lived happily ever after. Life is not static. See, what is the problem with this phrase? They lived happily ever after. You're making it static, but life is not static. Its undulations go on as long as it does. The ups and downs of life will go on until
Last breath.
Realization.
until we die, at least that much we must, even if you don't accept realization. So if you're going through ups and downs, it's a good indication that you are
Alive.
alive. As long as you're alive, these ups and downs will go on. Its undulations will go on as long as it does. Its ups and downs will go on. It means life's. Life's ups and downs will go on how long? As long as life goes on. And therefore, constantly arises the twist in the tail. There are many augurs on the route to delight. The happiness machinery. I hope you're following the line of thought, right? We're hunting it down. So first we have to say, okay, let's first analyze what we are doing. What we are doing is we are looking for it outside. What is outside? Outside is defined as we're looking for it in the world. What does that mean?
Objects, emotions, and thoughts.
Very good. It means objects, emotions, and thoughts. When Vedanta says world, it means objects, emotions, and thoughts. We're looking for it there. Okay. And we believe, that is our fiction, that we will find it there. So when we hanker out behind something, there are only two options. Either you get it or you don't get it. If you get it, if you don't get it, you're very unhappy. But if you get it, then what? Then life changes. Therefore, there is a twist in the tail. Right? Flow of thought clear, right? Don't get, keep one eye on the flow of thought
Yes.
even as we go on. Oh, I'm noticing some new names. Sudha, Rashmi. Are y'all okay? I think all the other names I know. Are y'all okay? If you have any question, please feel free to ask. Manjushri. Manjushri, after a long time, Manjushri, welcome back.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks so much. Actually, I've been listening to your recordings since many months now, almost a year.
Yes, I know many people tell me that all the time that they can't make it to class, but they follow it on YouTube. I've been hearing that quite a bit. So, well, nice to have you back. You see all your own friends over here.
Thank you, ma'am.
Namaste, Janaki ji. This is Rashmi. I'm also from Augusta. I'm Samta's friend.
Okay.
I started joining a couple of classes ago, but last week I couldn't join. I caught up.
Okay. Good, good. Samta is doing a lot of organizing nowadays. Yes, Samta, you have a question?
Yes, Janki. So, in the context that you said in Vedanta, world means objects, emotions, and thoughts. So, when they in Vedanta, it's also said that Brahma Satya Jagat Mithya. Is that what it means? That reality that we have created with our thoughts, emotions, and objects is Mithya, and reality something else? Is it that context?
Yes, you could take it like that. These are very deep statements and they can be taken in multiple ways, but this way is fine.
Right, because I mean, initially when I started listening to Vedanta, it was confusing. Is it something fictional, transcendental that I'm not getting from one wrong thought to another? That there's something, okay, not heaven, hell, but now is it something else I'm chasing? But again, everything it makes clear that in today's world, mithya is objects, thoughts, and emotions.
Yes. Because what is mithya? We have to learn to define things. So, what is mithya or what is true? Something is true if it lasts. The test of reality is, does it last? So, how do you know that? Suppose I ask you one day, what's your name? You tell me Samta. Next day, you tell me my name is Mary. And third day, you tell me my name is Joyce. Then I will ask you, what is your name? What is your real name? Right? So, if it is a real name, we use the word real in the sense of it lasts. When you say real love, what are you talking about? It's not like, they were together for one day and then they went their merry way. Real refers to what lasts. So we know the world is not real because it doesn't last.
So we can say that an enlightened person sees this reality of the world as being mithya, this everything is change, and then not be in the suffering due to that.
No, the other way around. He sees what the reality is and therefore doesn't get involved in this. We are getting involved because we're not seeing the reality. We are seeing the moving stuff. We are not seeing the real stuff.
Right. So he still sees it, but is not affected by it, and that's how they are beyond suffering in that case.
Yes. He sees it. I mean, just like a physicist knows that everything is made of protons, neutrons, electrons. But that doesn't mean he tries to walk through the wall. No? He knows it and he understands the wall is the wall. Anvesh, you have the question?
Yes, Janki ji, thank you. So going back to this passage about the success, you're longing for something, and then so I want to play devil's advocate just because this is a doubt that has been hindering me in this kind of path. Is that, and I think everybody might feel this way as well. Is that you aspire for something, you get it, of course, like society and general kind of like zeitgeist is going to tell us obviously that thing is not going to last forever. You will enjoy it and then it will fade a little bit, then you go on to the next thing, then you go on to the next thing. And if you have a major disappointment in life, then you will have a very difficult time for a while. Over that time, maybe you should see a psychologist and then get some therapy, and then you will be restored back to this game of life. You now go for the next thing and you keep progressing like that, and that's life, right? And you don't really need to seek for anything much deeper. You just have to go through this. Maybe you can be a little bit religious, you can be ethical, you can be a good person, and that's all you need to do. Is there's not why do we need to have to go into this realm of like, oh, life is suffering, this is samsara, it's really bad. That'll only happen if you've had something very bad happen in your life, right? So that's what I'm trying to say, is that how do we, like, sometimes this doubt comes up, is like, why am I thinking this way? Maybe I should just just go for the next big thing, and then find happiness there, and look into multiple things and one thing after the other, right? So that's the doubt that besets me about this path. So I do understand it. I do find that there is more lasting happiness when you, but the doubt comes back like that. So how do we answer something like that?
Well, firstly, yes, you should go for the next big thing. Secondly, yes, life is undulating. Some things you'll get, some things you will not get. So when you get it, great, go for the next big thing. And when you don't get it, sort of, okay, you win some, you lose some, then you start again. All that is a normal process. Anybody does that. Any animal also does that. And that's the right process. Nothing wrong with this process. However, just this process is no longer available to people in this class. There are some fortunate souls who have not asked the question. As long as the question never came to you, like, what is the reality? Is there a truth? What is there? What is not there? As long as this question hasn't come to you, you're a very fortunate person. You will go through the ups and downs of life and enjoy yourself. And you'll say, khao, piyo, maja karo. Eat, drink, and be merry. Okay? However, Now you've asked the question. Now what are you going to do? Now you can't go backwards. So you have no alternative but to go forward and get the answer. It's like if you could stay with it, then stay. No one's telling you to do anything. But now, how will you? You already asked the question. It's like a scientist. See, the rest of us are living in this world. We don't ask the question, why did the apple fall to the ground? Right? Has it ever occurred to us, why is the apple falling to the ground? Why is the sky blue? All this doesn't occur to us. But to scientists, the question occurs. Now, bichara, they have to go and find out the answer. Leela and Majnu love each other. Okay? And other people in the world don't love these two people. But now that they love each other, they have got no alternative but to take all the troubles that will come. So similarly, in the spiritual part, now you've asked a philosophical question. Now, what are you going to do with that question? If you say, I'm going to ignore it, it will come back to you. So it's not denying the earlier part, which is, of course, you work for the next big thing. It's not telling you, oh my God, now you are, there's nothing in the world, so do nothing, so sit at home. That's just tamas. You have a talent, please use it in this world to do the next big, the next great thing. If you're what is your vocation?
I'm in Toronto, Canada.
No, what's your vocation? Not
Vocation, I'm a
location,
doctor.
You're a doctor. Now, as a doctor, you have the ability to be of help to people till your dying day. Why would you not do it? Why would you not struggle to be of service? Our work is not only so that I will have a bigger house. It has such a big, there's a responsibility on our shoulders because we are enjoying the work of others. We are enjoying the internet because somebody made it. We are enjoying Zoom because somebody made it. So we are enjoying the work of others. Therefore, we have to work. Some of that work will succeed, some of that work will fail. That's okay. We just do it and continue. So that part is correct. There's no debating it. But now there's a kira in you. If you can get rid of it, get rid of it. What can
Yes,
you
you
do?
can't get rid of it, that's for sure.
Yeah. You can't go backwards, right?
Right.
Now that you ask the question, what are you going to do with it? You'll have to answer the question. So that's a bit sad. That's why Deep Raj has all started crying. But it's a bit sad. But now we have to find the answer.
Thank you, Janki.
Bharat?
Yeah. So, Janki ji, when the attention remains world bound, so even when the attainment of one thing happens, it's often compromised by 10 things which may or may not happen, which one desperately wants. So, can there be a genuine claim of even momentary happiness then?
Yes, of course. Bharat, don't talk like that. As if you went to the gym, you picked up 200 kgs. Weren't you happy?
I did it for the self.
Okay. All right then. Sometime, somewhere you must have been happy. Your sister came, you all went for whatever you all went for, and you all had a nice time. Weren't you happy? Of course, you can claim. I mean, I don't know. Were you happy or not? Even though I was bored stiff, then I will tell your sister to listen to this video.
She might watch this, so yes, I was very happy.
See, I sorted your problem out, Bharat. So, of course, you get momentary happiness when you drink that. What is that thing you drink? That soy milk. Bharat drinks unsweetened soy milk. Aren't you happy to drink it, Bharat? I mean, we may not be happy, but you're happy, right? Drinking it.
Yes, I mean, I meant for a person who's so full of desires, how can he be happy? Because at any given point, his attention is on 15 things which are desperately waiting to happen. So
Yes, but you're taking a case of only a person who's totally indisciplined. What about people who are very disciplined with reference to their desires? They don't have the more disciplined you are mentally, you are not so distracted. You achieve, you enjoy, if you fail, well, you go to the next thing. Like Anvesh said, why not? We don't have to assume that everybody who has desires is indisciplined about
Okay, thank you.
Samantha?
So yes, Jankiji, like you said to Anvesh, that once that question has come, and then again, there is a lot of people that question does not come. There was a time in our life that question didn't arise. Somehow I didn't know that, okay, after chasing everything, getting those things, there's something missing. I didn't know what it was. And again, somehow the journey started. But now realizing that, like I said, say I try to tell my kids or people around, like, if I'm drinking a tea, usme makhi mujhe dikh gayi, so then I cannot drink and I cannot let you drink either. Then it bothers me. You are drinking the same tea that had something. But at one point, I've heard you in other videos that you said, none of my business. You just don't try to teach or bring people to Vedanta. But at the same time, like how we are trying to open Vedanta's site, like the university and stuff. So we do feel that obligation that, yes, I have found and that question. So let me try other people discover, like, again, either some people say that, as you said, I'm happy chasing one thing to another, and some are maybe majority of them are fulfilling. So I feel that life is fulfilling. What's wrong in life? Why are you being pessimistic and stuff? And then some says, oh, my time hasn't come yet. When it will come, it'll automatically. So it's by destiny that you go this. So there's still that confusion because, as you said, like me and Rashmi from Augusta, now that we have realized, she introduced me to Vedanta, and I feel like in our temple, we just come do ritualistic stuff and go. We've been trying to introduce this to people different ways. Do a Gita class, try to motivate, like trying to start now. Actually, this book, Your Happiness Guarantee, we're starting next month. I said, okay, we'll do a Hatha Yoga, come do once a week of yoga, and then we'll do 20 minutes, 30 minutes, this happiness guarantee. And I try to play that video, 1 minute video from your online, that whatever you're doing is you're doing it with your life, you're paying it with your life. But it doesn't seem people get it. I only have, like, we have 400 families, only 5 people have signed up. Sometimes I was telling, it breaks my heart, like, shall we give up? But then, so that confusion, that is it none of our business, but shall we still keep trying to, so if you can please help me get rid of this confusion, we're doing right, or shall we continue?
Yes, we have to try. Why would we not try? Suppose you had a medicine for cancer. Would you not try to convince people that please have this medicine? Right? But you also have to understand that they're not going to be convinced overnight. So it's too tough, especially when you are in the, sort of getting it and you're saying, wow, this is fantastic. It's very, very difficult to say, okay, I don't care what anyone does. That's why you have to train yourself. Well, none of my business. Because just think about it 20 years earlier. 20 years earlier, somebody knew what you know now. Suppose that chap had gotten hold of you and forced you, it wouldn't work, right? If you have got 5 people, you've done amazing. After 20 years, I had 5 people. Poor Christ, after realization, had 12 people, of which 1 betrayed him. So this is not a mass thing. We do it mass. I mean, the fact that we have how much? 34 people in class. It's a great blessing for us. All 34 of us we are blessed that we have a group of 34 people. It's a fantastic thing. This is not, and these are not 34 who are just sort of, you will see 90% of the names are long-term students. They're not, I mean, like every class I may see 1 or 2 new people, of which 90% will stop coming. 1 more will get added, serious student, after maybe 1 year or something. So we are blessed, really blessed.
So in this case, we can continue saying that karam karo phal ki ichha mat karo. So you do keep doing the right thing and then don't get disheartened if somebody gets or not. Like,
No, not
so
don't get disheartened. Understand it's not possible.
right.
अभी बच्चों को बता रहे हो कि शादी में क्या यूज है, क्या समझने वाले? It is impossible. How will you tell a child? Suppose there's a 5-year-old child and you're debating with the child, and the child says, I will not get married. And you're trying to explain, no, it's very good to get married. What? The child is not capable.
Okay.
So what do you say when a child's 5-year-old girl says, I don't want to get married? You say, yeah, so cute, huh? Don't get married. You promise, no, you won't get married. And by the time she's 18, she'll have run away and gotten married. You know, people will come to it when they come to it. What can we do? But yes, we do all we can. But we're not interfering in somebody's life.
Thank you.
Okay, so where were we? There are many ogres on the route to delight. Okay, there are many, many problems that come on the journey to happiness. So why? Because it has 10 moving sections. The happiness machinery. Now just imagine that there's a big machine called happiness. All right? And you are on that machine. But it has 10 moving parts. The good old machine that is meant to create happiness has many moving parts. Consequently, it is as capable of crushing happiness as it is of creating. The nascent happiness is not safe in its cogs and wheels. That's what makes it so fragile. The surety that getting what we want will give us happiness is belied by the ground reality. We are so sure I'll get it and then I'll be happy. But the ground reality, what really happens, doesn't always sustain that. It doesn't always sustain that. Bharat, I mean, maybe we've said this so often that you have now reached the conclusion that it never sustains. No, in some cases it will sustain, and in some cases it will mutilate. That's this machinery. Imagine this big machinery with all these moving parts, and somehow you have to get happiness out of it. How? Continue, Mahesh. The machinery moveth, and the movement can hurt. The eagerly anticipated happiness depends maddeningly on the following conditions. 1. Attainment of the object. Not achieving one's heart's desire can be bitter. Generations have cried over the tragedy of Romeo and Juliet. How much? No, even today when they make a movie on Romeo and Juliet, everybody's going to cry. So you don't obtain your desires. The object is as a, okay, so then what happens when you get it? The object is as expected. Acute disappointment follows striving, obtaining, and then realizing that the object is not what you expected it to be. Have you experienced that? We buy a pretty dress only to discover it doesn't become us at all. Have you ever bought a dress you really liked? And then when you wore it, so my God, this doesn't suit me at all. We bring home some exquisite furniture and find it doesn't fit the decor. That piece may be very good, but it's not fitting the rest of the stuff. Momita, are you there in the class, Momita? Are you there? Yes, Momita.
She's not there. I'll let her know. That's a typo, right?
No, it's not a typo. She said it's a typo, but now as I read it, I realize it's correct. Will you tell her? She was going to make this change, but this is the right version. Because see what it says. On the following conditions. One of the conditions is that the object is as expected. So it's not a typo.
Yeah, correct. But the explanation that follows says that the object is not what one expected. So
Right. Because look at the top line. Can you see the top line? The eagerly anticipated happiness depends maddeningly on the following conditions. So happiness is dependent on the object being so. Happiness is not dependent on the object not being so, right?
I didn't get you.
Okay, I think now I have to explain it to the class. All right, so what happened to everybody who doesn't know what this discussion is about? They highlighted it. This sentence number 2 was red flagged as being wrong because the paragraph says it is not as expected, but the header says it is as expected. So it was highlighted and red flagged and said this has to be corrected in the next print. Are you all able to see what the problem, what they thought the problem was?
Yes.
Yes.
Right? No, that is clear. But now, as I'm reading it in class, I realize that this is the right version because this is the second condition for happiness. So the condition for happiness is not that it is not as expected. The condition for happiness is that it is expected, and why it's not happy is because it is not as expected. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay, Reshma, you're fine?
No, I'm confused, but I will tell her.
See, no, the paragraph says that the object is not as expected, correct?
Right.
This is an explanation of what happens when this is an explanation of what happens when the condition is not met. Like in the first one, the condition is attainment of the object. But the whole explanation is on when it is not attained. Did you see that? The first one says, it doesn't say non-attainment of the object, no?
Right. So the header and the explanation are opposite.
Yes.
Okay, I'll tell her.
Got it, right?
Yeah.
What is Deep Raj saying? New message. Ishma, you can look at the other headings and see the pattern. Yes, correct. Okay. Then the third condition, I hope the whole class is clear about this, that these are the conditions, and because they are not met, we find unhappiness. So what is the second condition, that third condition that has to be met? The desire stays the same. A desire can change instantly. A child pleads for an ice cream. Her father buys it for her. But as soon as she gets it, she sees another's. Have you not found that in a restaurant? You order a dish, your dish comes, but on the next table, you see that chap seems to have a better dish. Now she no longer wants the ice cream she has, but the other, and screams the house down for it. So, what are the conditions we've done so far? One is that the object is attained. Two is the object is attained and is expected. Three is the desire also has to stay the same. Say Princess Diana wanted to marry Charles, but after some time, and she married him, but her desire changed. She didn't want to be married to this type of a person. Then the fourth one is the circumstances remain the same. I hope you're able to see how this is going. Firstly, the object has to be the same. You have to obtain it. Having obtained it, it must be as you expected it. It could not be as you expected. Thirdly, your expectation should stay the same. And fourthly, the circumstances have to stay the same. because we always forget that our desires, our desires, our desires, O-U-R desires, our desires, A-R-E desires, our desires, our desires only because of those circumstances. In a different circumstance, our desire will be very different. Here is an example. A person is in his favorite restaurant, eating his favorite dish. The phone rings. He receives news that a family member was involved in a fatal accident. The tasty morsel in his mouth instantly turns into ashes. Though it is the dish that he loves, its enjoyment has been seized from him. Or fashions may change, thus making an acquisition useless. In this fast-paced world, we often find things we strove for become obsolete. A business built with years of hard work and sacrifice suddenly becomes outdated. One becomes good at English or hockey, but eventually the rules change and rendering one's expertise irrelevant. I don't know if you know all this. See, even at cricket today, the rules are different. Suppose you're very good at cricket, but the rules have changed. In hockey, the rules have changed. In English, the rules have changed. My father used to be excellent at English. I mean, he used to work with Sir Laurence Olivier and do Shakespeare plays in London. He was on the BBC. But if he spoke his English today, we would not appreciate it because today's English is different. Shakespeare, what a genius in English. But if he came and spoke to us today, what will happen? We will tell him, please learn English before you speak to us. So, in circumstances change. You know, in Mumbai at the moment, not yet, Mahesh. At the moment, it's very hot. It's really hot. So everybody wants an AC, right? In a week or 10 days, it will start raining. At least I hope. Everybody's hoping that it will. So once it starts raining, all the ACs will become useless. Nobody will put them on. So your great desire has changed because what is
The
changed?
circumstances.
Circumstance changed.
Circumstances have changed. Imagine, suppose I've been longing to buy a car. And then something happens and I'm in hospital. Will my longing for the car not go away? I will be longing for something else. So please notice what all has to be right. 10 things have to be right for you to feel happiness. That's why Bharat is saying, is it even possible? 10 things, 10 conditions have to be met. First, you have to get it. You didn't get it only, now what are you going to enjoy? Secondly, having got it, it has to be as per expectation. Thirdly,
Desire has to remain the same.
desire has to remain the same. If the desire has changed by the time you get it, imagine that. Suppose you bought the latest iPhone, okay, and then as soon as and it wasn't delivered, you paid it, and the delivery was a little later, and next day, this amazing new phone comes out, which beats the latest iPhone hands down. New, something brand new has been discovered and put onto the market with a big bang. The iPhone of yours will feel like nonsense to you. It's amazing. Okay, even if your desire remains the same, even if you wanted it, it is just as expected, but your circumstances change. again it will be the same. Bharat, you had a question?
Yes, so desire changes instantly is true only for a desire which is relatively low in strength, right? I mean, if it's a strong desire, how can it's going to come back again, right?
Yeah, it will come back, but now it has changed, and you have the object to deal with now.
Okay, so change in this context does not mean that it's disappeared. It's gone in the back burner, perhaps.
No, yes, it could go on the back burner. It could be replaced. Maybe you wanted a Titan watch, then you heard of Rolex watches. Now you want a Rolex watch. I mean, you still want the watch, but now it's not the Titan you want, it's the Rolex you want.
Okay,
So
yes.
that can change at any time.
Thank you.
Manjushri? You raised your
Yes,
hand.
yes, Janki ji, I was saying that, but isn't that what always happens? Like, I'll give you the example, ChatGPT has come, right? Everyone's fearing they lose their jobs. But there are many people saying that, whatever technology advancements come, it is always for your good. Similar, Google had come, people, changed their jobs and they adapted. So what? So, but the desire will be there, right? How can you eliminate that desire uh, to not work or if you're a secretary and then the chat GPT comes and takes away your job. I mean, you can't eliminate that desire, right? Like, um,
Yeah,
I
so
don't know
you
if
will
I'm,
suffer.
yeah.
You can't eliminate the desire, correct? So you will feel sad, you will suffer. That's what the point is, right? That all these things have to be in position before you're going to experience the happiness from that object.
Okay.
So it
Um,
changed. So now suffer.
so in that case, in your previous classes, you had mentioned that you know like don't let your happiness let your happiness be dependent on you and like don't delegate it. So some things you have to delegate, right?
No, but when you delegate, you're only saying what will happen. Both ways you're talking, Manjushri. One is you're saying that no matter what bad thing happens, I have to adapt to it. Correct?
Yes.
And you're also saying that sometimes I have to delegate my happiness. But if you
Yes.
don't delegate at the right time, at the right place, you will have to suffer. You say, no,
Okay.
I want my secretary's job only. I'm not willing to do anything. I like this, I want this. But now you have been made redundant. So now that's that. So
Okay,
remember,
so you mean to say like upgrade yourself, maybe, learn coding or something, like upgrade yourself maybe
yeah,
is like,
I am
yeah,
not giving any instructions. We are just
just
saying
like
that
a discussion for
10
discussion.
things,
Yeah.
10 things have to be in position before you will enjoy something. See, we want to enjoy so many things. We do not realize that 10 things have to be in position. If those 10 are not in position, you're not going to enjoy this. And all 10 have to be in position. It's not like you get 8 of them, you will be okay. You've got to get all 10 right. And that's why this machinery is moving and you're hanging on for dear life. So what you want to do about it is up to you, but at least the fact has to be clear that 10 moving parts exist. Now that I'm chasing it, that's fine. Nobody's saying chase it, don't chase it. Vedanta has no views, no advice to give. It's saying this is a fact. It has 10 moving parts.
Understood. Okay.
Hari Om Janki ji, may I ask a question? This 10 sounds very dangerous, right, for us to be happy. All right, ma'am, my question is,
You have to
thank you.
just see whether it's a fact or not.
Right. My question is, see, after we get into the spiritual journey, we understand that desire causes agitation. And over a period of time, from a limited understanding, we understand what our desires are. And sometimes it gives happiness, sometimes it doesn't, and we try to wipe out those by taking up a higher cause. But you add one more thing, that a new desire can come later in life, right? Like Titan to Rolex. It can't be stopped.
Hmm.
It can't be stopped, right?
It can't be stopped means depends on what you have been doing.
Okay.
I mean, if you continue on a plane, then you will get more and more desires on that plane. If you raise your plane, you will get more desires around that plane.
Okay.
Because you're stuck there. So you have to constantly raise it so that the new desires you're getting are on higher and higher planes.
And they are fewer.
Yeah, higher will have to be fewer.
Okay. So ideas grow. If you stay stagnant, then it's very dangerous because you'll be having a lot of desires and obviously it cannot be met and it'll be a problem. So
Yeah, I
ideas
mean, all
grow.
this is your conclusions.
No, I'm not confused. I'm
Vedanta is
asking.
only saying, please notice whether this is a fact or not. This is all we are doing here. No advice, no suggestions, no comments, no do this, do this. Just identify, is this a fact or is this not a fact? If it's a fact, digest it.
Okay.
It's not trying to say don't follow your desires or follow your desires. You understand this much. Because
Okay.
there are so many facts. If you don't do what you desire, you'll become a frustrated person.
Noted.
If you do what you desire, you'll become a frustrated person. No, what to do.
So just one final thing. Person is going about his duty. Suddenly, can he get a desire of scuba diving? And you never
Of
know.
course, anything you can get as a human being, anything is possible.
Okay. So there is
Ravana
no.
was living a very happy life. He had everything, he had all the damsels from heaven. Then he said, I want the Lord's consort. Pagal aadmi hai. Anything. I mean, he has everything. What do you want more for? No. Want. Then go kill yourself. What can anyone do?
This is very dangerous, right? Understood. And he was a person who meditated and he was, I don't know, I can't call him, I don't know him, so I can't call him intellectual. So people like us, it's very challenging, right? Anything can happen. Okay, ma'am, understood. Thank you.
Rashmi, you had a question?
Yes, Janaki ji, this is just an observation, I guess, a couple of observations. I don't know if I'm looking at it the right way. But what I've realized or noticed is that, there are strong desires and weak desires, right? So if those weak desires are not met, I mean, we don't experience that degree of unhappiness. But if you have certain desires that are extremely strong, then you experience really strong emotions, whatever it might be, sadness or anger or whatever, right? So that's one thing. And then another thing I've noticed, and I don't know if this is also again correct or not, but oftentimes we are giving up desires for another desire. Like, for example, if I have to choose between two things and both sound really nice, but I only have time for one, then I'm actually making a conscious effort to give up a desire. So although, yes, I mean, you cannot give up desires, but as long as you don't recognize them, if you somehow are able to use your intellect and recognize desires, you can consciously perhaps give up desires that are not so meaningful to you or whatever. But unless you recognize that, there's no way you can give up that desire and it has to be fulfilled. Is that an okay way of looking at it?
Yeah, both your statements are right, but you have to connect the two. When you are talking about giving up desires and your choice and all that, remember your first statement. All this fooling around you can do when your desire is less powerful than your intellect. Otherwise, you will not execute this. So, on with weak desires, you can say, you can show, I'm Dara Singh, I'm Muhammad Ali. When the desire is strong, then we will see. Okay.
Okay, so
connecting
continue
the
to
two-
sharpen the intellect, right?
Yes,
Okay.
just connecting your
Mhm.
two statements.
Okay, thank you, Janaki.
All right, so that's it for today. Hariam.
Hariom Janki ji. Thank you.
Hariom Janki ji, thank you.
Thank you, Shanki ji.
Thank you.